Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve back with another episode of Core Wellness TV, and today we're going to talk about your hips. People come in quite often and say, Doc, my hip hurts, and they point there, they point back here or something. Your hip's not there, okay? Your hips, they are in front. Think of them as the ball and socket joint, right? We're gonna talk about a couple of different movements, and you're gonna learn how to use your hips correctly, and by doing that you're gonna spare your spine, keep your discs from being overloaded, and preserve and protect your proper and good functional movement so you can use your back for as long as you want to use it. So here we go. The hip hinge is the first thing. I've done this many times before in previous videos, but you're going to put your hands right in front of your body. When you bend forward, you're going to make a crease. That crease is your hip joint. We're moving from front to back with the hips. This is what it looks like from the side. Okay, we move away a little bit. That's a hip hinge. Okay, just doing this with your daily activities like brushing your teeth, with like bending over to lift something, with like putting your makeup on in the morning, doing dishes at the sink. A lot of people do dishes or they do stuff like this with a round back and they end up blowing out a disc, and then you're injured and then you got rehabilitation and really it's treated very poorly, because the first thing you have to do is avoid that completely if you have a disc injury. But regardless, there's the hip hinge forward, okay? You have to do that. And one of the ways I help people get that is I will have them just play shortstop for me. Anybody who has seen a baseball game has seen a baseball player go down in the ready position for the ball. Okay? Here we go. Just like this. It's kind of like the athletic ready position. Okay? So that's the first thing. If you can just allow your hands to slide down and rest on your knees. You see what's going on with my tail? Going out. Okay? That's the pattern that you need to groove in order, and your back staying completely straight as a board, right? If I put a board from my sacrum all the way up to the back of my head, it would be a straight line. So that's the hip hinge. That's the first thing. The next thing is your hips are designed for rotation. A lot of your rotational maneuver and power comes from your hips, and most people do not know how to use their hips effectively and do not actually have good motion. They really don't even have a good connection between their brain and how their hips are designed to work. So this is a nice little way to do that. Okay, a good thing to do is, first of all, you have to be able to kind of balance on one leg, right? And you try and open and close. If you don't have perfect balance, you can hold on to something. It's not about as much the balance here as it is about understanding what the hip joint does. It is a ball and socket. Right now, the top of my leg bone, or that big femur bone, you know, the top of that femur bone is staying completely still. And my acetabulum, or the place where the ball is going into the socket up top is basically rotating around the top of that ball. Okay? You see that? That is external rotation. That is where power comes from. That is where any kind of rotational maneuver, like life is rotation, right? Every time you push a door open, you're rotating. You swing a golf club, it's hips, right? You swing a baseball bat, it's hips. You push a vacuum, it's hips. You have to have that good motion. So those two things are your job for today. You're going to hip hinge, practice hip hinging. Okay? This is probably the umpteenth time I've talked about this, but it's so important, right? And then the other thing is you're going to learn what rotation feels like. Now here's here's the error, right? Here you are, here's a nice opening. Now, see this? This is spine. Rebecca, as a dance instructor, always told her students to think that they're headlights. These are your headlights. If you are turning, if your pelvis is moving on top of your hip, your headlights will turn like this. Okay? Your headlights and your shoulders will not disassociate, so to speak. But if you leave your headlights forward and twist your spine, that's not what we're after, and that is what can damage the spine more quickly, especially if you twist it and flex it at the same time. That's your biggest prescription for a disc injury. So one more time, recap. You're going to hip hinge, and you're going to learn how to rotate. Now, when you rotate, one more thing about rotation is I don't want it to be just from purely squeezing your butt muscle. You should be able to do this without your butt muscle activating. There is a time and place to activate your butt muscle, don't get me wrong, but in this case, I just want you to use this deep system and be able to do that without actually activating the big strong muscles that are pushing you. Okay? So once you get this, the inner core and this deep core stability system woken up, then we can start working on more power moves and things like that. So let me know how you do with these, okay? If you have any trouble with them, or if you have any other questions regarding the hips, hip pain, back pain, all kinds of stuff like that, post them down below, and I'll get back with you maybe in a future video, okay? So have a great day, keep thinking good thoughts, eating good food, and keep moving functionally, right? Functionally. Functional movement blocks pain. See you next time.